everybody, welcome to the Hot Topic podcast for the cool and the uncool. My name's Shiggy.
And I'm Juice.
And how this podcast works is at the beginning of each episode, we'll have a quick coin flip, and whoever wins the coin flip gets to choose the first topic of the episode. So, Juice?
Yes?
Will you do the honors?
I sure will. Do you choose heads or tails?
I'm feeling a strong tails on this one.
Alright, it is flipping heads.
Okay, great. Fucking great. Alright, what's your topic? What's your topic, my friend?
Alright. My topic is a musician. He's a singer-songwriter that I have enjoyed for the past few months, actually. His name is Andy Shauf.
Oh, Andy Shauf. I think my brother has actually told me about Andy Shauf.
Yeah, he makes a lot of great music. It's like folk music, and every song has a story to it. And they're all pretty, like, tragic, but yet there's, like, a really good balance of, like, the sadness and just making a genuinely, like, good song to listen to. Like, you could just, like, listen to it in the car or, like, at work, which is something I've actually done. And, I mean, a lot of folk singers that I've heard before, like, they'll talk about men cheating and stuff, and the man in the songs usually gets away with the whole cheating thing, and then the girl's like, oh, it's okay, you know? But not Andy Shauf. No.
Yeah, Andy Shauf don't fuck with that shit.
He really does not. Like, if you've listened to some of the songs that he has made about that kind of stuff, like, either somebody dies or multiple people die, or just the dude lives a sad life, sort of.
Oh, that's... You know, that kind of reminds me of a lot of female country artists. You know, they just... Like, male country artists, it seems like... I know I kind of throw a curveball with the folk to country, but it seems like male country artists are always, like, really just like, I don't fucking care about women. I like guns, and I like my truck, and I like mud, I like ATVing, and I like some beer.
Also some
But
boats.
female country... Yeah, and boats. That's an important step in this. Female country artists are always like, my husband cheated on me, so I just fucking killed him. Like, I remember, like, what's her name? There was that one really popular song a few years ago, like, always on the radio. I say a few years ago, it was probably like 2008. Always on the radio, and it's about the girl, and she, like, fucks up that guy's truck, all because he cheated on her.
Wasn't there a song where, like, this one girl, like, cut all of her hair off or something?
I don't know. It was, like, really popular on the radio, and, like, I live in Texas, but I live in Houston, which is, like, nobody fucking listens to the country here. It's, like, everybody listens to, like, rap. Like, country's it's kind of a niche genre, because you kind of have to fit in to, like, the demographic of, like, who's making the song. Yeah. It's, like... Yeah, because, like, rap music, even though it seems like only, like, inner city hip kids are listening to it, like, kids all over like, rap is one of the most culturally sweeping things, like, at this time in the world, you know?
Yeah, like
kids...
You know, the little 11-year-old white kid living in suburbia is listening to rap.
Yeah, and you know that some kid in, like, Dirt Town, India is also listening to rap music, you know? It's true though, like, people all over the world fucking listen to rap music. Like, look at Serbia. Tupac lives there.
Oh, Tupac.
Oh, Tupac.
But
I wish... Yeah, go ahead.
Going back to Andy, he has a very good voice. Like, it is one of the best voices I've ever heard, like, in my own opinion. And he has this one album. It's his most recent one at the time of recording this. It's called The Party, and it's like a whole album, and every song takes place in, like, some very small town house party. Like, the opening song is The Magician, and it's just like about a magician who's performing at this party, and it's very good.
Yeah, if I'm correct, Andy Shauf is like more of experimental folk than just traditional folk, right?
Yeah, it's more like folk pop, I guess. I mean, like
My brother,
he does use clarinet, which is like one of his main things about him.
well, clarinet's common, I think, in a lot of folk. Like folk music, it uses a lot of winds, which aren't common in like pretty much any other genre.
Yeah.
Unless you count country, but country and folk have kind of, even though they're kind of one, they've kind of separated during the last few years. But folk country is like still the most predominant like version of folk, and the most popular version. Well, not the most popular version of country, but like out of all like fusion genres, it's like the most common one, because country kind of has its roots in folk music, you know?
Yeah.
Like early 20s and stuff. But yeah, my brother was telling me about Andy Shauf's new album, and he was like, he never was really into any other of Andy's like older albums, but he was like, on the new one, there's like a lot of jazz, and there's some noise in there too, which, you know, I fuck with that noise shit, so.
Yeah, that's certainly something about the party. Like, I have a friend who I've actually told about Andy Shauf, and they were interested, but they didn't listen to the party first. They listened to his older album, Bearer of Bad News, which is a very good album. It's very story-driven, it's very tragic, but it's still nice to listen to. But I think the party is really good to listen to if you're like new to it and you really only listen to like the popular music.
Like just for people who aren't like really into folk.
Yeah. He's not like the biggest like folk singer, but he's very good. Like apparently, like when he was growing up, he's Canadian and he lived in like a somewhat small town, and he would go to the local bar and he would sing there, and it was like a really cool thing to go and see just this young kid singing at this bar.
What I've noticed about folk recently, and this is kind of funny, like folk has slowly like fallen from these like old people, like I say old people, but like Bob Dylan and stuff, like these old guys who are like really into folk and they're really good at guitar, and they've been doing like this folk music all their lives, and they grew up in a farming town in Georgia, to these like these like kind of new agey Tumblr kids who have like like for instance, like one of the more popular, well not one of the more popular, but like a folk band that I've been really into for like since she started was Lomelda. And she recently like, and she's like she's from Fort Bend, which is not a small town by any means. I mean, it's in Texas, but just because it's in Texas doesn't mean it's small town, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Growing up with horses kind of thing. I mean, there's horses everywhere. It's fucking Texas, but...
Is it like one of those like small towns where there's no like local chains, but there's like a Red Robin or something?
No, Waco is... I'm Fort Bend. I said Waco. Fort Bend's on the map. It's...
Well, I mean,
like
I'm talking about my town. Like, there's no, like, local places, but you can find the local Red Robin or Olive Garden or something.
Oh, well, that's just the suburbs.
Yeah. I mean, the closest city area is, like, 20 minutes a drive.
Yeah, that's the strongest suburbs. No, like, small towns and big cities, they both have a lot of local places, but, like, suburbia, it's just soulless, man.
There's just nothing in suburbia.
Not to shit on where you live, but
no,
there's just nothing in suburbia.
I like it. It's not as like crowded as a city, but you still get that good internet connection.
Yeah, like fucking. I went to I'm in marching band, you know.
Yeah.
So I go to this football game, and it's marching band in Texas, which is like the marching band state of America. And like America is the marching band state of the world. So Texas is like marching band. Like this is like where the shit is, you know?
Yeah.
And so we go out drive 2 hours to the stadium. It's like in the middle of nowhere. Like no one from my high school shows up because no one wants to drive 2 fucking hours to see a football game. So we're out there, and there's like their stands are completely full. Like there's nowhere to sit, and people are sitting on the sidelines and stuff. And we're like, at first we're like, wow, it's like really popular here. It's like football must be really a big thing here. And then we're like, oh wait, there's nothing else to fucking do because there's not even a movie theater within like 30 miles of where we are. There's like a McDonald's that you could go to, and that's where you can hang out on a Friday night.
Hanging out at a McDonald's on Friday night? God, you're pathetic.
God, you're pathetic. Yeah.
But something about Andy Shauf, like, I have never seen this before in like any other musician, but in his Bearer of Bad News album, there are 2 songs, and they both tell the same story, but from 2 different perspectives. And they're both, like, really sad, like, viewpoints of this one story. But it tells it in a very beautiful way, I guess. Like, it's really sad, but beautiful in a way, I guess.
So, like, you can't tell who's right and who's wrong, or...
I mean, you know who's right and who's wrong, but...
But everybody's got reasoning.
Yeah, like, everybody has a reason for what they did, and, I mean, I'm just gonna say the 2 songs are, Jerry Was a Clerk and My Dear Helen. They are, like, right next to each other in the album, so if you listen to them in order, you can pick a clear view of the story. And I'm sure you'll know who's right and who's wrong. But it's really nice. Like, everybody I've told about it, they were really interested in it. Because, like, have you ever heard of 2 songs about the same thing?
I don't really think so. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't really listen to that many, like, storytelling artists. I just, yeah. I listen to that fuck shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do usually not listen to story stuff. If I knew another artist like Andy Shauf, I would totally be interested in that. But I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's some artists that just... There's one of them, and that's it. I mean, the only person I could... Fucking Windows Defender, Christ. Sorry. If there's one person I can compare Andy Shauf to, at least from what I've heard, is be Bob Dylan, because he's like, everybody knows who Bob Dylan is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
And,
he's old.
Bob Dylan's pretty fucking good.
About
I really like...
Bob Dylan is, like, old, so I don't think he really, like, fits in with the modern crowd, but Andy Shauf...
Andy Shauf he's new and hip.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like, late 20s, I believe. Might be, like, 24 or something.
Yeah, and Bob Dylan's, like, older than my dad, so...
It's really weird, because even though Andy Shauf is only, like, 20-something, he talks about certain things as if he's, like, an 80-year-old person. Like, he's been through some stuff.
I think that's part of the appeal of folk. It's, like, it's kind of a timeless thing, or an ageless thing, at least.
Yeah. I personally can't relate to any of the stuff he's talking about, but I'm really entertained by all of it. And for those,
I mean,
who...
if he's a storytelling artist, I don't think it's that much like of a normal artist where you can like relate to their songs. It's more of like you listen to their songs and experience the story that they're telling, you know?
Yeah, but he does talk about certain things that people can relate to, like cheating and stuff, but other times it's talking about like some young couple in like middle nowhere Canada where it's freezing during the winter, like it's so cold that it locks your doors and stuff. Like I live in the desert. I can't relate to that. I don't know what that means.
And I live in a fucking rainforest, so I really can't relate to that. Like, a lot of places, I've noticed, Texas, synonymous with cold. Like, some places, they're like, oh, dude, it's freezing out here. Like, Texas, when it's really cold, people are like, Jesus Christ, it feels like it's 60 degrees out here. like like 60 Fahrenheit. That's fucking freezing. Which I find, yeah. Like, I noticed I was on like this bus and it was really cold, and someone was like, Jesus Christ, it feels like it's 60 in here. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, 60 is like the ideal, right?
I know, that's the funny thing, because like 65, like a windy 65 is like windy, sunny 65 degrees outside. That's like the ideal temperature for a place, you know?
Yeah.
But like windy 65, that's too cold for Texas. The ideal is like 80, maybe like 85
Oh no.
with slight wind.
Oh. I mean, I like wearing sweaters.
I mean, yeah, I can relate, but like, I don't know, that's just how it is down here. Like, low humidity, like that's like the ideal. As long as it's not like you sweat and it just stays there, because that's how it is in Texas. It's just so humid sometimes. Jesus Christ. I could talk about Texas fucking weather all day, but
Andy Shauf, I'm gonna say, I have listened to The Bearer of Bad News and The Party over 100 times each. And it's basically to the point where whenever I hear one of the songs coming on, I can like sing all of the lyrics like as the song goes on, and I might slip up like once, but yeah. I mean, it's pretty catchy, but not very catchy. It's not like the pop song that gets stuck in your head for a week. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Andy Shauf. I totally recommend The Party to anybody who's interested.
Alright, well, that was Andy Shauf. And now, to do a quick fucking 180, I'm going to talk about my topic. Team Fortress 2, one of my favorite games ever.
Oh dear.
Just like the biggest fucking left turn from Andy Shauf you could possibly take. TF2, one of my favorite games of all time. I've got like almost 1,000 hours logged in on Steam. I retired. I'm done. I've retired from the game. But I've got almost 1,000. I've got 999 hours logged on Steam. And that, I'm going to tell you right now, that number's never hitting 1,000 because I just refuse. Anyways.
Now,
Team Fortress 2.
I'm going to check how many hours I have in TF2. It's only 50.
Okay.
And
so
I'm sure most of those hours are me not doing anything, and it's just idle.
Oh, that's TF2 is just one of my favorite games of all time. Like, when I first played the game, I was in 5th grade, right? I had literally no money because I was in 5th grade, so I was like, I want to play a game on this like really shitty desktop that I have, right? The family computer, first of all.
Yeah.
The family computer for 5th grade. So I'm like, I'm looking through the free-to-play section. I'm just like, man, I don't think my computer can run any of these games. And then I see TF2, and it's like this cartoony game, and I'm like, this looks alright. So I boot it up, and I get my shit pushed back into my body. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that's one of my favorite things about like games is that when I get my shit kicked in, I'm gonna try to get better at a game. Especially like online shooters. That's obviously my favorite genre since I've logged in 1,000 hours to one of the games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that one of the best things about TF2 and how it's become so popular over the years is just like the accessibility of it. It's not demanding on your computer. It's free to play, and it's not pay to win. Like a lot of free to play games you find on Steam, especially shooters and shit like that. You can pay $8 and you can get a super overpowered character, like fuck ton of overpowered guns, and like just completely destroy everybody else on the battlefield. But completely destroy everybody else who you're playing against, you know?
Yeah, I think that was something I liked about TF2. It was just like, I had no money. I mean, I had Steam for a while, but it was only because my friend actually wanted to play TF2 with me. I actually didn't even have like a dedicated graphics card for my computer. I was just using the CPU. It actually didn't work because this was 2012, which was years after you first played it. So it had gotten more demanding at that point, but I ended up buying like a $20 card and it ran just fine. But I will say that
yeah.
wasn't a good investment. I should have saved a little bit more and bought a better card.
Hey, $20 graphics cards, you get what you pay for, man.
I mean, I will
Right.
say it let me play Roblox for quite a few more years, so I'll give it that.
Yeah, it's, the $20, if you use a Roblox, it's worth it. The funny thing about TF2 is that once you get into higher levels of play, very few people are using items, with the exception of like Melee. Very few classes are going to use items that aren't stock, which are the ones that you get when you install the game for free and you can't remove them from your backpack. Like the stock items for every class are the best ones overall. Save for a few exceptions, but overall, they're the best ones. They're like the most versatile. They don't have any niche like within the game, and like what's funny is there are these people who are spending like thousands and thousands of dollars on these fancy hats and with like these amazing effects on them, and you just like they're just using like the stock shit, like the stuff that you get when you install the game, and like that brings me to my other thing that I love about TF2 is you can just make your character look like a complete fucking idiot. Like you can make him look cool, but you can also make him look like a fucking idiot. Like the hats, that's the main appeal of the game. Like don't let those 2008 memes confuse you. The hats are the best part of TF2.
I remember I was talking to my one friend and I was like, I wonder if you can get a VR headset in TF2. And lo and behold, you can get an Oculus Rift for, I believe, the engineer.
Yeah, I think there's actually 2 different VR hats in TF2. There's like one that you get when you purchase an Oculus, or I'm not sure if it was an Oculus or one of the other headsets, but it was one when you get when you purchase a VR headset, and then there's another one that was like made in like probably like 2007, or not 2007, but like 2010 for like the engineer, and there's a VR headset for him. But there's like the all-class VR headset too. And like something about TF2, it's like it feels like so timeless. It's like such a timeless game. Like at least for me, there's very few timeless games. There's like the original Super Mario Brothers. There's like Pac-Man, like Legend of Zelda, stuff like that. But like TF2, it's just like one of those games that I can like play it, and then like anytime I'll play it, it won't feel like changed and different. Like a lot of online shooters have like changed over the years. Like if I show you Counter-Strike Source and I show you Counter-Strike Go, like they're completely different games, and you can tell me that.
Yeah.
But like if I show you 2007 TF2 and I show you 2016 TF2, save for a few hats and a couple weapons, you're not going to be able to tell me like that they're too much of different games.
Something about like TF2, the only thing I ever really played was the like workshop modded servers. I really enjoyed like I think it was called Jailbreak or like Prisoner or something.
Oh yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm talking
That's
about?
just the Half-Life engine though. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie and say that all 1,000 hours of my gameplay, of my hours logged in TF2, have been in like vanilla Valve servers with the game modes. Because if they were, I'd be a fucking god at the game. I'm gonna say easily 200 or 300 of those hours are like deathmatch servers and like Saxton Hale servers where you have to fight like this one player who's got like super overpowered weapons and like 20,000 in health, and it's like, and I think that has more to do with the Half-Life engine and how accessible it is, and just the community of TF2 is as toxic as it is. They're dedicated to that game. If they weren't dedicated, they'd be like Battleborn players in TF2, as in like 46 people,
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the game maybe would not have made it onto the 360. I know it didn't do that well on the 360, I don't think. But
yeah. I mean, it's a Valve game.
Yeah.
Valve is a PC company, and they'll always be that way.
I mean, I do remember them bringing Left 4 Dead to console, but I only knew one person who actually had a 360 copy of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, like my cousin is the only person I know who has a 360 copy of Left 4 Dead. And like, I don't know. That's like the only game we play whenever I go over to his house, because that's the only game I like at his house. Because I'm not gonna lie, he's got bad taste in games, especially on console.
Yeah, that is something weird with like family members. It's like, I didn't choose you, so we don't have the same taste and stuff. But
yeah,
we're
it seems
gonna...
like no, but it seems like everybody has like a cousin that plays a lot of fucking really shitty video games on an Xbox One. You know what I mean? Like, everybody I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I have an 8-year-old cousin and all he does is play GTA 5 on his 360 all day long, and he doesn't play any other game. And that's just, I don't know. It's something about cousins.
I mean, all of my cousins are younger than me, so a lot of them don't really play video games. Except I know 2 kids, all they ever really talk about is Overwatch, which, somewhat like TF2, like the same genre, but I guess there might be something interesting to younger kids and the whole team shooter thing.
I think it's because Overwatch is easily accessible, it's really popular, and it's not hard to play.
Well, I mean, like TF2 is also easily accessible, and you got into it when you were little.
It's not. Yeah, but here's the difference. Overwatch, like, it's... When I was little, you know, I wasn't watching, like, YouTube. Like, a lot of little kids these days, they watch YouTube videos all day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, my little cousin sits in his room on his iPad. Like, whenever I'm over at their house, he sits in his room on his iPad, you know? And he's like, always watching, like, I don't know, whatever the fuck little kids watch. And, like, when I was little, you know, YouTube was just kind of blossoming as a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, there were very few, like Let's Plays hadn't even really taken off yet. Like, there were a few people, but I don't know, I didn't know about them. And, like, YouTube is such a popular thing now. And, like, just social media in general is, like, really popular, but YouTube's that big thing, and, like, all these little kids' favorite YouTubers are playing Overwatch, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was little and the whole YouTube platform was taking off for video games. The only Let's Player I knew, I guess, was this one person who was doing, like, a walkthrough for all of Pokemon Silver, which I had just been getting into, so I was like, somebody please help me with this. So I looked it up, and then I just started watching it, and I was like, I like this person. They're talking about how they're going to college. This is really interesting. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
I don't remember watching anything but just, like, random videos on YouTube until, like, 6th grade. Like, until I actually started following, like, content creators.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I'm not gonna lie, that was PewDiePie in 6th grade. And I'm sorry, I'm over it, okay? That chapter of my life, I'm done. I've turned the page.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but I watched Tobuscus, who, as far as I know, hasn't done anything bad.
I watched Tobuscus too.
I mean, Tobuscus
if you go back
was
to my old YouTube, if you go back to my old YouTube channel, where that I made with my friend in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 5th grade or 6th grade? Anyways, my old YouTube channel where I uploaded my Minecraft Let's Plays. There's an episode where me and my friend sing the Nugget in a Biscuit song by Tobuscus.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
Yeah, it's a dark times. But yeah,
I mean, at
like
least
TF2.
You have something that you, like, initiated and liked doing at that time to look back on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's something with, like, kids and stuff. It's like, your mom is like, hey, come take this picture, but you don't really want to. But if you're uploading something to YouTube, that's something you wanted to do at that time, which I think is pretty special.
And I don't think any content creator ever can go back to their old stuff that they made when they were little and be like, oh yeah, I'm still proud of this and I think this is good content. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty bad content.
Especially when you're a 5th grader with like a Pentium 4. using pirated fraps to record your Minecraft Let's Play with your friend. It's like 15 frames a second. You have a really shitty microphone, and whenever you like press a key, it's like in a laptop, so it makes a really fucking loud crunching sound.
I remember actually watching a Left 4 Dead 2 Let's Play from your old channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we watched those together today.
I really liked it, but it was more
that was
the
the shit back
novelty
then.
that I knew it was you when you were little.
It's just fucking funny, I think.
Yeah.
Just little kids being fucking weirdos.
I mean, I don't know if I would think it was as funny if it was like some random kid now, but it was just really funny knowing that it was you when you were little. Because I know you now, I didn't know you then.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, the thing is, me and the kid in those videos, like, even though we go to the same school, we don't talk, like, ever anymore. We, like, never talk anymore. It's really, like, it's not awkward, but it's, like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I don't even know what happened. Just, like, middle school, man. Really fucks with your life.
Oh, yeah.
Something about puberty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I don't know.
Like, I remember 8th grade, I had a bunch of friends, but then freshman year of high school, maybe like halfway through, I was not friends with any of those kids anymore. Like, I lost all my friends. I didn't have any new friends. I was alone. It sucked, but then, I don't know, I got through it somehow. So it's all okay now.
Yeah. And I think that wraps up this episode. We're about 35 minutes in.
Yeah. This is a good episode.
This was a good episode.
I gotta say, I am really happy that you were interested in this whole idea, and I'm glad that I'm doing this with you.
Yeah, this is actually pretty fun.
Well, thanks for listening to the Hot Topic podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'll see you there. I want to give a shout out to Crime Pit, who did the cover art. You can find them on tumblr.com. And thank you to Potamus for hopefully letting us use their song Addiction from the album Milk and Cookies.